The fourth thing that Reverend Palmer says that healthy humor does is it brings order out of chaos. It's a humor that allows a distance to examine the bitter edges of our resentment. There are several ways that humor brings order. One is by bringing truth to a situation, by cutting through the clutter. This was Jon Stewart's appeal on The Daily Show, right? To strip away all of the talk and say, this is what's really going on, and we all laugh at it because we see what the truth is underneath it all. Healthy humor also gives us perspective. I'm reminded of the man who had no shoes, and he felt sorry for himself because he had no shoes until he met the man with no feet. So he took that man's shoes, because clearly the man with no feet wasn't going to need them, and so it was a win-win. No? Is that a bad example? That's not a... Okay. Have you all seen the meme of the first world problems? So you see a picture of someone pulling out their hair, and underneath it says, I haven't had internet for 15 minutes. Followed by a picture of an African kid at the edge of the village looking up going, tell me about your internet, right? Putting in perspective, right? Akin to this is a humor that reminds us that the world that we're living in is not the reality. When faced with Lazarus' tomb, Jesus wept, not because he was sad for Lazarus. He knew he was going to see his friend in just a minute. But because Jesus saw all the sorrow surrounding death, and he knew that this was not meant to be. This was not supposed to be the end result of creation. I think that glimpse into the world as it really is meant to be versus where we are stuck now, that pulling back the curtain, I think that gives us an odd mixture of what joy is. In my mind, the deepest of joys are felt, I believe, in the most unusual of places. For example, when my brother Chris died, my siblings gathered at the funeral home to attend to the details of the viewing. Chris was laid out in the main room, open space before the casket, chairs lining the walls, the edges of the room, and the music system was softly pumping out some soothing tune. We were all lost in our thoughts when one of my brothers cocked his ear towards the speaker. What is that playing? We all listened carefully. It was Barbra Streisand singing show tunes. We all looked to the coffin. My brother Chris was a country music man. From the core, a country music man. He was not a Babs Broadway boy. One of us said we should find the funeral director and change the music. And another one replied, do it quick before Chris gets up and does it himself. And we all laughed. My friend Howard's wife, Marianne, loves to tell the story. She's so proud of the story of the day her mother stopped speaking to her. It was at the funeral of Marianne's father. Marianne sat with her sister in a somber synagogue, the open casket at the front, the cantor singing out a blessing. Marianne's sister poked her in the ribs. Look at Papa in the casket, she whispered, sleeping through yet another service. The two grown sisters got the